Hello everyone, good morning. Hope you are doing great, doing good, keeping safe, practicing all the assignments and all the BI tools and just other tools that you have learned here. Let's wait for a few more minutes for everybody to join and then let's start off with our session. Till then, can you please give a quick thumbs up if my voice is audible to you? Okay. Now, if you are audible, can you please check? Okay, let's wait till 1 more minute and then we'll start off with our today's session. Okay, so hello everyone, welcome back to the session. As you all might know that we have completed with Python yesterday, and now we're going to start off with Excel. In the between the sessions, what all interview questions that can be asked to you, I can discuss them. Okay, and trust me, Excel is one of the most important tools, or you can say weapons, if you are applying for some data analyst or business analyst jobs. Because see, most of the companies that work in data, 70% of the data that they have is either in the server or SQL servers, or they have in the Excel. So it is really important for you to know that some transformation or some basic operations that you can work with Excel. And once you're familiar with the basic operations and what all menus we have in Excel, you will be uh, really good to work with Excel. And there are certain things that Excel is a really vast topic. So there are certain things that even I don't know, or even a particular data experienced business analyst or data analyst doesn't know. So having an experience in Excel kind of leverages for a data slash business analyst. Okay. So with that note, I would like to share my screen. Okay. Once again, can you please give me thumbs up if my screen is visible to you? Great. So let's start off with today's session. Let me create one new Excel sheet. For 2020. And yeah, guys, the all the Excel sheet that I'm working on will be provided to you via Google Drive. And yesterday I was not able to do because because yesterday the better half of the day there was no power in my area. It was a huge power cut. Okay. So as soon as this session is completed, I'm gonna upload these sessions to the Google Drive and provide the link to you. Great. Mhm. Let me start off with the basic functionality, or one of the most important functionality that we have in Excel is that the functionality of quick analysis. Guys, the font size clear to you, or should I zoom in or out a little bit? Guys, the font is visible to you, or should I zoom in or out a little bit? Clear? Cool. Okay, why this month, Jan? And the sales figure. And let me start with sales figure as. I hope everyone understood the functionality of autofill, and if not, then I'm gonna repeat it quickly. So let me suppose that the starting figure is 1000, and now if I'm selecting these two values, and now if I'm dragging and dropping till the December, now Excel is not smart enough to define a pattern between 1000 and 1100, so that the difference between these two values is 100, and then it is going to repeat till I'm dragging this particular column. You can say 2300, 2400, 25, 6. Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I forgot to, share the screen. Now the Excel sheet is visible. Great. Sorry, I'm really sorry for that, guys. Sorry. It happens sometimes. Great. So now, let me do it once again. So my starting figure is 1000, and then 1100. And now selecting these values, I'm going to drag and drop it to December value. Now, as you can see, Excel is smart enough to derive a pattern between 1000 and 1100 such that the difference between these two values is 100. Now it's going to increase the value of each and every cell until the drag and drop cell. As you can see, 1000, 1100, 1200, 1300 up to 2100. That is the December values. Now the functionality is I can use quick analysis. VLOOKUP will be covered in the next weekend session, because where I will be, covering the Excel formulas. Okay, no need to worry about that. Now the functionality is you have to select the numerical column, and here at the top, at the bottom right of this particular column, we have a table which is called as quick analysis. Now let me have a look at it. What this quick analysis functionality is all about. It is having a drop down containing various menus such as formatting, charts, tables, totals, and spark lines. So let's have a look at formatting. It shows that okay, 1100 was it, you can say that it is a bar graph type of figure. 1100, for 1100 there's certain bar graph, left for 1000 there's certain bar graph. Similarly for 1200 and 1300. Okay. But it looks quite sort of a business professional report. Now let's have a look at color. It fills the rest of the space that was there in the cells with some color. For example, this particular space was occupied by these bar graphs, and the rest of the space was filled by some color. We can also have a look at icon set. Okay, some value has been increasing or some value has been decreasing. We can also have some charts and quick analysis functionality or tab. Suppose, for example, I'm having clustered column chart, line chart, describing a linear relationship between the starting of the month and the sales figure values. You're also having scatter plots. Okay. We can also have sum values, that is the sum of the respective column values. You can have average, count, percentage total, running average, and so on and so forth. Okay, let me create one more column. Into it. Suppose as of now, I'm gonna multiply it with 2. And then let's drag and drop. Now, as you can see, there's a column value between and on the right hand side of this particular column. Column value as in the you know bar chart and some sort of stuff like that. Can you show which step that you were talking about? The one that I've multiplied these values with 2. Okay, I've done nothing but just multiplied these all these values with 2, such that into 2, and then I'm gonna drag and drop it to the last. Uh, this step you were talking about. Cool. Now let's have a. You can see that there is a small description for this. Very visual, saying that spark lines are mini charts placed in single cells, each representing a row of data in your selection. Okay, so let me for this particular value or this particular visual is for this first column, and the second respectively is for the sales figure column. Let me do sales figure 2. Okay, any doubts till now for the quick analysis functionality? Quick analysis functionality is the thing that generally in the interview they do not ask. They simply ask the what all formulas or Excel formulas that we are um aware of, and also they might ask that okay, some difference between relative and absolute reference and mixed reference, which we are going to discuss in this particular session. So, any doubts till now? Great. Okay, so if you are not having any question, just a quick and easy question for you. How I'm gonna select the all the values of such column? I told you a keyboard shortcut for this. So the question is how I can select all the values of this particular sales figure to column. I told you about a keyboard shortcut yesterday. Okay, great. So it is very, very important for you to know at least some basic keyboard shortcuts. Okay, and let me tell you one real life story. So my friend who applied for a business analyst role in Geo, and the interviewer asked him to calculate the sum of a column, and that Excel file contained a lot of rows, maybe in 2.5 to 3 lakh rows. He was not able to uh, use the control shift down functionality or the shortcut, as he was a quite he didn't knew Excel, but he was very good with SQL and Python. He didn't knew Excel, right? He just knew how to open Excel files and load that into SQL or Pandas. So the question the interviewers asked, okay, there are some columns having numerical columns. You need to calculate the sum of all these values of a particular numerical column, and he just wanted to know that if he is aware of the control shift down keyboard shortcut, and just that's it. So such kind of questions might ask you. So he was expecting him something like this. Just go to the first value, control shift down, and here we go. So this is one of the favorite interview questions to start off with Excel. At least you can, in a technical interview round, you can expect at least 5 to 6 array of questions for Excel. And chance 80% chances are there that okay, this will be the first question of your Excel. And then he will be digging you deeper, okay, what is pivot table and the rest of the stuff like that. Okay, so it's really good that you're remembering these keyboard shortcuts, and yeah. Now let me have a look at the agenda. What the agenda is all about. Quick analysis we have done. We have been navigating through worksheets. Okay. See guys, as of now, we are not we are having Excel sheet containing all Excel files that are having only one Excel sheet, but in many of the projects or in various of the office works, you will be having Excel file containing 20 to 30 Excel sheets. Now let me create an environment like that. Okay, 9 Excel sheets. Fine. So now, if you want to navigate to any particular Excel sheet, for example, I want to navigate to an Excel sheet named sheet underscore 7. So I'm without wasting any time, I'm going to click on this sheet 7 because it is visible to me. Okay. And now if I want to navigate to sheet 4, I'm going to click on sheet 4. Okay. This sheet 3, sheet 5, sheet 6. But in many, as I told you, many of the office work or any of the projects that you are working on, they may be containing at least 30 to 35 Excel sheets. Okay. Now the most basic way to most the most easiest way to navigate through Excel sheets in such cases is that right click on this area and it has opened me a drop down containing all the Excel sheets that I want to navigate it. Suppose as of now I'm having only 9 Excel sheets, but this entire area might be filled with Excel sheet names. So if I want to navigate to sheet 5, I can basically click on sheet 5 and click on OK. That is going to navigate me to that particular Excel sheet. Let me tell you once again, if I'm going to right click on this area, the area between these two arrows, that is left and right click on that. It is going to open me a drop down containing all the Excel sheet names within this particular workbook. And now if I want to navigate to sheet 8, I can do click on sheet 8 and then click on OK. So it is going to navigate me to that particular sheet. Okay. Any questions in navigating through worksheets? Any questions? Yes, no? Cool. And obviously, you can also rename your Excel sheets. For example, let me rename it as quick analysis. And let me rename this to this one. Let's go to- You can also have a look at the right click on this particular Excel sheet and click on tab color. And you can choose whatever the color you like. Suppose I'm gonna choose it light blue. So now, as you can see, this particular tab has been uh, changed its color to light blue. Yeah, it's light blue. I can also change the color of this particular light yellow. Okay. So in this way, if you are finding it quite difficult to read the names of this Excel sheet, you can just change the tab color of these respective tabs. Okay. With that, we come down to one more functionality, which is move and copy. Yeah, move and copy functionality. Yes. Now, suppose I want to move this Excel sheet named quick underscore analysis somewhere between 3 and 4. So what I'm going to do is drag and drop this particular Excel sheet and drop it between sheet 3 and sheet 4. Now, as you can see, my quick analysis sheet has been moved to the place between sheet 3 and sheet 4. I can also use move or copy functionality. Just right click on the sheet tab, click on move or copy, and it has opened me a drop down containing move selected sheets to book the name of your current Excel sheet. Okay, and now if I want this particular Excel sheet to moved before Excel sheet 6, I can do click on sheet 6 and then click OK. Now, as you can see, the quick analysis sheet has been moved before sheet 6. Now let's move it back to its original place. And now I can move this sheet to sheet underscore 2. And now what if I want to create a copy of this particular Excel sheet and move it before sheet 7? I can simply right click on this tab, click on move or copy, and click sheet 7. And I'm going to check this particular checkbox named create a copy. I hope this drop down is visible to you guys. Yes, no. Okay. So I was, let me do it once. Right click on this particular sheet name tab, click on move or copy. And now let's move this, create a copy of this particular sheet before sheet 7. In order to create a copy of this particular Excel sheet while performing this functionality, you can need to check this particular checkbox and then click OK. Now, as you can see, I have created a copy before of this quick analysis Excel sheet and moved it before sheet 7. Now let's rename it to analysis. Wait. Uh, any questions in move or copy functionality? Great. We're done with move or copy functionality. Navigating through worksheets. Now let's move on to free space function. Now let me grab some. Let's delete all these sheets so that it looks quite cleaner. Now once again, guys, if you want to, uh, delete more than 2 sheets at a time, you can just click on control and click on all the sheets. Let me do it once again. Now I'm gonna hit hit on control and click on all the sheets that you want to delete. And as you can see that it has created a group. Now if I'm gonna right click on it and delete it. Okay. Now let me grab some dark data set. Fields, managing options. Just a second, guys. I'm gonna, grab some quick data. Hmm, yeah. Great. Okay, cool. So let's do that. So, so as you can see, this is some data of sales, and it is having a column as a sales repository 1, 2, 3 up to 200. And the starting year for this particular sales data is 1990 and is ending up to 2014. Okay. So now, what if you are working on this particular data set and you come down to this cell? And now, what should you do? Now, if you come down to this particular cell, you can't see the columns or the indices, such as the column, the first column name, and the column headers. You can't see. Okay. Now, while working with such kind of data, you come across, okay, to this point, okay, this is the column headers, namely 1990, 91, 92 up to 2014, and this is the first column having values as sales repository 1 to up to 200. And now, while working with this particular data, you come down to this, and you come down to a point where the column headers are not visible to you. Okay. And also here in this case, if you move to the right hand side, you come down to the point that the first column was not visible to you. The problem is you are not able to see if this particular cells belong to sales repository 20 or 30, and if this particular the column header for this particular cell value is 1992 or 2007 or 2008. You got the problem, or should I repeat the problem statement? Shall I repeat the problem, or you're good with that? Okay. So this Excel sheet is not a big data, but it's quite a moderate data, having some 200 rows. Okay. Now, while working you with this particular Excel data, you come to a point. Suppose you come to this particular cell. Okay. Now, what's the problem? The column headers for this particular Excel data is not visible to you. Okay. And now, while working with this Excel data, you come to a point such that your your column headers as well as the first column that they contain the sales repository name, both are not visible to you. So what to do in such cases? I hope the problem is now clear to you. Yes, no? Okay, the problem statement is clear to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the cell containing okay, let me zoom in a bit. What I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the first Excel cell value. Just a second, guys. Just a second. Yeah. So what I'm gonna, okay, there are some questions in the chat. Okay, please. Okay, people know please space options. Okay, great. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click on the first cell value of this particular Excel data, and then I'm gonna click on this option in the view menu as freeze panes. Now, if I'm moving towards left, towards right, this particular column has been fixed. And now if I'm moving down, the column headers are still visible to me. The point being that I have freezed these, the first row and the first column. Okay. So now I'm working and I came to down to this particular point. I can still know that this particular uh, data belongs to year 2008 and for sales repository 45. Okay. Any doubts in freeze panes option? Yeah, great. Rahul and Neelam. Great. Really good. Very good. Uh, any doubts till now in the freeze options, freeze panes options? Great. Yeah, we can freeze column two. I'm gonna click on freeze pane and freeze pane, and then I'm gonna do freeze first column. And now, as you can see, this particular column has been freezed. I'm gonna shift. I'm gonna change the data. Okay. And as you can see, this particular column has been freezed or fixed. Yeah, macros, the basics of macros will be covered in the upcoming sessions. And in this particular session, if you are having any doubt, then please put them over the chat. Hmm, that would be done. Please, paint functionality has been done. Okay. I hope everyone is cleared up to this point. And if you are having any doubt, then please put them over the chat regarding freeze paint functionality, move or copy functionality, navigating through worksheets. If you are having any doubts. Okay, great. So with that, we move down to tables in Excel. Okay, let me terminal the tool. Grab some basic tablet data. So we have two types of uh, data visible to us, that is range and table. So what is a range is suppose I'm having this particular column. Okay, so sales figure 2, these are the value for 2000, 2000, 2000, 2000, 2200, 2400. So this particular column and its value will be called as a range. Okay, I'm gonna repeat myself. If you as you have a look at this particular Excel sheet, uh, we are having columns, namely month, sales figure, and sales figure 2. Now, sales figure 2 and its corresponding value is called as, this particular data is called as a range. Okay. Now, let me ask you a quick interesting question. Okay. So this having a look at, just have a look at this particular data, month, sales figure 2. This all these data is called as a range. Okay. Month values such as January, February, March, April, down to December, and sales figure 1000, and sales figure 2 values. All these data is called as a range. Okay. Now, considering this knowledge, what do you think about this data? If it's a range or a table? Okay, Pranali says Dave. Nilanjan says table. Okay. Any more answers? So the question is, you know what a range is, right? I just con- having a look at this data. What do you think of this data? If it's a range or a table? Okay, Rishabh says table. Any more answers or brainstorming? Sure says table. Okay. Three people are saying table. Four. Okay. So this particular data right here, it's a range. This particular table data right here is a range. Now, what if I want to convert this particular range to a data, to a table? Just like any of the cells of this particular data and hit Control T. and it opens me a small drop down saying where is the table of your data, where is the data for your particular table. So it has provided me the range of the presence of my data, and by default it has checkbox my table has headers. It seems kind of obvious because I'm having some headers, namely sales repository name, sales date, region, amount, and customer ID. Now let me click on OK. Now this data is called as a table. Now let me show you a really interesting functionality of a table. What if I'm gonna multiply this particular 238 value with maybe 4? So in case of a table, I don't need to drag and drop all the values up till down here. And in a table, it automatically fills the data. And here in a range, what I need to do was, okay, suppose I want to multiply 2000 with all these values with 7. It gives me just the starting value. And what if I want to apply this particular operation to all the values? I want to drag and drop. But in case of tables, if I do it once again, I want to multiply all these values with 4. And as soon as I hit enter, all the values will be filled with the result of that particular operation. Any doubts between the difference between the operations in a range and a table? Any doubts or questions? Yes, no? Address is syntax. Not at the rate to, it's a kind of syntax, but you don't need to worry about that. Excel is going to do it for yourself. At the rate amount is basically the column. It is going to refer to the column. If I want to, any for many operations, can just simply do. So at the rate is is, you can say that at the rate is syntax, and you don't need to worry about that because Excel is going to take care it for yourself. And with the help of at the rate amount, it is going to refer to the column name. So at the rate amount, it is going to refer to the column name. At the rate region is going to refer to the region, and so on and so forth. Okay. Uh, any more questions, or shall I repeat this particular table? What all things that we have discussed in table topic, or should I proceed? Okay, cool. Now we are having. Now you can also have a look at these two arrows or filtered down arrows that we had a look in Power Query Editor and Power BI. So how can we differentiate between a range and table? So basically, the main point of difference between the range and the table is that the table contains the uh, arrow down filters, okay, and by default, the ranges does not contain any sort of column level filters. And also, if we want to, you can also say that if I want to perform some mathematical operations on a numerical column, and by default, that particular mathematical operation will be done to only one cell, and then you need to drag and drop that particular cell so that it can be applied to rest of the cells. And in the case of tables, you don't need to do that. Okay. Great. So we are having column level filters in a table, whereas in ranges we don't have such kind of filters. We can also have a sorting functionality. Okay, if I want to sort it by hmm, largest. Okay, I can also perform some filters. Okay, number filters, and it should be greater than uh oh, okay, there's no save sign. Okay, let me number filters to greater than 500. So what all values there are greater than 500, I have filtered it out from the original data. So such kind of operations quite become quite easier in case of tables, but in case of ranges, you need to do a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm gonna also have if I want to have a look at the data for only the Europe region, I can just do click on this particular arrow and then click on Europe. Okay, and if I want to have Europe for data for Europe and Asia, I'm gonna click on Europe, control click on Europe and then Asia, and it's going to show me the data for Europe, Asia. Okay, you can also there are a lot of date filters available to you, that equals, before, after, between, tomorrow, today, yesterday, next week, etc. Okay, so I hope the table operations has become quite easier, quite clear to you. We can also insert slicers in Excel. So let me create a slicer, and it opens a drop down containing all the column names that you want your slicer to based upon. So for example, we can have a slicer based on sales repository name and sales date. Not future. Now let's as of now let's. So if you want data to be filtered by US, you can click on US. You want to filter your data by Asia, you can click on Asia, Africa, Europe. Again, if you want to have a look at the data for Europe and Africa both, you can just click Europe and Africa. And if you want to clear all the slicer filters in your data, just click on this particular column, name clear filter. Great. Any questions till now in tables, slicers, or okay? So what I'm gonna do it if I want to insert a slicer on my Excel sheet, what I can do, I can go on insert menu, and in the insert menu, I can have a look at this slicer, and it creates me and it opens me a pop-up containing all the columns that you want to have that are contained in your data. Suppose I want my slicer to be based on a region. I can select and click on this region and then click OK. It has created me a slicer. And now I can slice my data according to its respective values. For example, I want to slice that particular this whole data based on region where region is equals to Africa. So this slicer is going to do me that. And if I want to have a look at data for Africa and Asia, I can just do control click for USA. You can just do it. I hope I've cleared your query, Kishore and Kumar. Great. And once again, if you want to clear all the slices, you can just do click on that particular columns, name clear filter, and clear all the. Table design tab. You can also change the format or change the layout of your table. So for example, just click on your table and go to design tab. You can also have total row that can you know calculate the total values. So by default, it is going to uh, showing only the total values for customer ID. You can also change this layout if you want to table styles you want change. For example, you want it to be light yellow, you want to be light blue, black, or rest of the table styles that you want to have. A lot of styles that are available for you to change the color or style and designing of your tables. You can have just have a look. I personally don't go with designing and stuff like that. I want my reports, whether it's Excel and the Power BI, to be as intuitive as possible. Okay. My reports look as simple as that, and I want my reports to, deliver as much as information as to the user, and the information obviously becomes quite easier to grasp to the viewer or user. Okay. So let with that we come down to insert strategy growth trend. Okay. Now, as earlier, it's yeah. Cool. So earlier, if I want to use my autofill functionality, I used to do right click on this particular green dot and then drag and drop. So it is going to return tell me values such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 10. Now, what if my requirement is okay? This particular value, this particular pattern should, you know, show a geometric progression like pattern. So what I can do is right click on this particular green dot and just drag and drop. You can see a small menu occurs, opens, namely copy cells, fill series, fill formatting only, fill without formatting, linear trend, and growth trend. And now I'm going to click on growth trend. And now, as you can see, this pattern has followed a geometric progression with a common ratio as 2. So for folks who don't know about geometric progression or a common ratio, for folks who don't know about geometric progression and a common ratio, you can see that the difference between these two values, if you divide 2 by 1, the result comes out to be 2. And now the if you divide 4 and 2, again the result comes out to be 2. And if you divide 8 and 4, the result comes out to be 2. So it is doubling, it is multiplying the next incoming value with the previous value. So 1 was multiplied with 2, 2 is multiplied with 4, 4 is multiplied with 8, and so on and so forth. Okay. Yeah, sure. So now we were talking about a new uh, pattern. So let me start off with 1 and 2. Earlier, for autofill functionality, we used to right click on this particular green dot and drag and drop this particular these values. Oops. Drag and drop this particular green dot, and it shows a linear trend, right? What if I want to show a growth trend? So I'm gonna start off with 1, 2, select these two values, and right click. For linear trend, we used to do left click, and now I'm gonna do right click for this, and it opens me in a menu containing copy cells, fill series, fill formatting only, fill without formatting, linear trend, and growth trend. So I'm gonna click on growth trend, and now as you can see, it's a growth trend with a common ratio as 2. So each and every consecutive values are multiplied with 2 for the next values. Okay. I hope it's cleared now. Wait. That it becomes clear to you what's linear and closed friend. We are also having a functionality which is called as flash fill. Let's make the sheet to flash. Let's fill. Click on uh, mm, Sam dot Shaw at Gmail. Similarly, I can do Rishabh, I hope this is not your email ID. It's quite different. Sorry, I'm out of name, so I'm using the using your names, guys. And now I can use because I want to explain you the functionality of Splash Fill, and it can be best used in uh, text data. So that's why I'm using your respective name. So sorry for that. Kishore, Kishore at Yadav. Um, Neelam Chattock. So okay. Now my problem is suppose I'm having a lot of mail IDs and I want to grab the first name of the all these mail IDs. Okay, so the respective mail IDs that I'm having is sam.john@gmail.com, rishabh.ghosh@gmail.com, kishore.yadav@gmail.com, and Nilanjan Mitra@gmail.com. Now I want to grab the first names of all these mail IDs. Okay, so what I can do is I can just simply type the first name of my sam.john@gmail.com Gmail ID. That's the first value of this Gmail mail ID column. And now I'm going to click on flash fill. So it has extracted me the uh, first names of all these email IDs. Okay, I'm gonna repeat. I'm gonna provide Excel the first what I want to do. So I want the first name of all these email IDs. So I'm gonna type this first name for this first email ID, that is Sam. And then I'm gonna left click on this particular green dot, click on autofill options, and then click on flash fill. So it has extracted me all the first names of my Gmail IDs. Similarly, I can try to have a look at the second names. Again, I'm gonna do right, left click on this particular green dot, click on autofill options, and then click on flash fill. So it has extracted me the second names of these particular mail IDs. Any doubts in flash fill functionality? Great. So for performing such type of operations, so that you want to uh, grab the first name or the last name for the respective Gmail ID users, it is not advised to use flash fill functionality, but you can use text functions, Excel text function that will be discussing in the upcoming sections of sessions of Excel. But just wanted to have a look at, okay, we are having flash fill functionality in Excel as well. Kishore says if I try in third column flash fill, what is it will fetch? So as you can see in the third column, it is not having any special string or characters, special text. So it is going to return you the exact name as itself, as it is. Okay. So now as of now, we are quite good with autofill options. Now, what if you are having some special list, some special order for autofill functionality? For example, medium, low, medium, high, or heavy, heavier, or heavier, some sort of stuff like that. So for that, what I can do if I want low, medium, and high. So low, then I'm gonna type medium, and then let me click, drag and drop this. No, no, no. Let's go for heavy, heavy, heavy. And if I drag and drop to further, it is going to repeat heavy, heavier, and heavy, heavier. And I want heavy, heavier, and heaviest. So what I can do, I can just go to file. So I can go to file, click on more, and then options. Now Excel option menu appears to you, and then just click on advanced. Okay. Now just scroll down to general. Okay, so in general section also we are having a lot of options. just go to edit custom lists. And now you can use heavier, heaviest. And then click on add. And now click on OK. Now if I type heavy, it is automatically going to fill heavy, heavier, heaviest up to the point that I drag and drop it. Okay. Custom list is a really important, functionality of Excel. That's a lot of functionalities are there in Excel that it, you know, uh, makes it quite different from the rest of the BI tools or data storing tools. Okay. Uh, any doubts that you are having in custom lists, or shall I repeat myself? Okay. Hmm. Okay, we have a good question here. If I share this Excel with custom list to other user, will it still appear? Okay, let me think. You created a list in your Excel, in this particular Excel sheet. Uh, no, I guess it won't be available to you. Oh, that's a really good question, Kishore. Personally, with logic, thinking that I think it won't be available because last time when I was practicing Excel, I created a custom list and it's still there. If I open any other Excel sheet in my computer, so 70% chances, 70% think that I am confident that it won't appear in the rest in the other person's computer. But I'll do some quick research over this and get back to you. Yeah, thanks. And now, what if I want to? Namita says when we use custom list options. So, in many of the cases, in many of the data sets, you might having a look at various other columns having categorical data such as low, medium, high, or low priority, high priority, or medium priority. So in that, if I want to fill some columns in Excel, and I don't want to manually type all that particular categorical data or such as low, medium, high values. So in that case, I can use custom list options. Okay. There's another way you can use a custom list option. Okay. For example, I want to uh, okay, let me do. And now if I go to file, more options, advanced, and then I scroll down to general and edit custom lists. I can also use import option. So let me click on this small arrow. Select all these cell values containing low priority, medium priority, or high priority. Clicked on this particular small downwards arrow, and then I'm going to click on import. Now, as you can see, low priority, medium priority, and high priority has been added to my custom list. So earlier it contained high, medium, low, heavy, heavier, heaviest, and now it contains also low priority, medium priority, and high priority. And I'm going to click on OK. So now if I do low, high, E, so it is going to automatically fill its respective values, low, medium, high respectively. Okay. Any doubts in custom fill options and autofill functionality? In I've seen a lot of people where, or in case of a lot of people, I've seen that there's autofill functionality is not able to work. So just simply go to File, More, Options, and then click on Advanced. Okay, let me check that option. Editing options. Okay. So in many of the cases, if you are, if in your Excel in your machine, it's if you're not able to work with the autofill functionality, just click on File, More, Options, Advanced, and then just check this particular uh, inside of this editing options. Just click on Enable autocomplete for cell values and automatically flash fill. Okay. Okay. Cool. Great. Any questions so far for this session? Any questions? Yes. No. Great. So, okay. So I guess we are done for today. So in the next class, we'll cover the most important concepts in Excel, namely relative, absolute, and mixed cell reference. And we'll start off with the Excel formulas. Okay. So the next classes will be really important for the Excel sessions, and we'll be covering formulas such as VLOOKUP, the famous VLOOKUP function. Okay. So yeah, let's call it a day for today. Okay. Okay, guys, have a great day ahead. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your day. Thank you very much. Bye. See you. See you in the next sessions. Okay, guys. Thank you very much.